Good afternoon. This is the presentation of our final project in ITEP 306, Applications Development and Emerging Technologies, presented by J.J. Araniego, Alan Asican, John Kenneth Bejo, and Cyril James Villanueva. Presented to Ms. Joanna De Torres. Next slide. Our project title is the development of e-tourism mobile web app for Tanaw de Rizal Park in Rizal, Laguna. Chapter 1, the project and its background. Introduction. Over these past few decades, tourism has been recognized as one of the biggest and fastest growing economic sectors in a lot of countries. Tourism has become one of the main drivers of a country's economic growth through a lot of means. It gave way to the creation of jobs, establishment of new businesses, contributing to the country's export revenues and infrastructure development. According to McIntosh and Goldner, tourism is the sum of the phenomena and relationships arising from the interaction of tourists, business suppliers, host governments, and host communities in the process of attracting and hosting these tourists and other visitors. Balik mo pa, hindi pa tapos yung ano. Tourism is based on information. Sasabihin ko pag next. Tourism is based on information, and the internet is one of the most efficient ways to disseminate any kind of information. The internet initiated the digitization of a lot of concepts, including tourism, into e-tourism. According to Bohalis and De Mezi, e-tourism is basically the digitization of the processes and value chains in tourism, travel, hospitality, and catering sectors that allow organizations to maximize their efficiency and effectiveness. Next slide. One of the countries that see tourism as one of its most valuable resources is the Philippines. The Philippines is gifted with a lot of natural attractions, from beaches, caves, hills, mountains, lakes, and many more. Each city, town, and province has its own natural attraction to offer to tourists. While most of the locals are already acquainted with these attractions, it might not be the case for others. In this premise, some of the country's potential tourist spots remain untapped and undiscovered. An example of this is Tanaw de Rizal Park, also known as Tayak Hill, located in the municipality of Rizal, province of Laguna. Tanaw stands for Tayak Adventure, Nature, and Wildlife. According to the website of the municipality of Rizal, also known as Tayak Hill, Tanaw de Rizal Park is a tourist destination of more than 600 hectares of protected forest area. At 736 meters above sea level, atop the hill stand a 30-foot solid cross and a panoramic view of San Pablo City, Laguna de Bay, and nearby towns. While Tanaw Park is well known to Rizal's locals and as well as residents of neighboring towns, people from farther places may not be well aware of Tanaw Park and what it has in store for them. Nowadays, most people now have access to the internet through their mobile phones and can access websites in the palm of their hands. Some websites now act as online brochures, which people can browse before availing a service or booking in a certain destination. This falls under the category of e-tourism, which can be utilized by Rizal's Tanaw Park to showcase its offerings to tourists. With that being said, the study of the researchers will be focusing on the development of an e-tourism mobile web application for Tanaw de Rizal Park in Rizal, Laguna. Next slide. Project context. Tanaw Park is one of the many tourist attractions in Rizal, Laguna. In 2011, the municipal government of Rizal initiated the groundwork for the park, promoting it as Tayak Adventure and Nature Park and the landing point. The park was officially launched for the public in 2012 as Tanaw de Rizal Park. The local government made Tanaw Park its flagship tourism project and envisioned a larger ecotourism operations that offers agritourism, a nature park, and adventure sports activities for tourists. The park also has incorporated a religious element, such as Noah's Ark and an image of Madonna on the hill's peak. Tanaw Park has facilities such as an information center, pavilion, view deck, parking space, camping area, public restrooms, directional signages, a restaurant, and hotel rooms for guests in which they can stay in for the day or night. Booking hotels and registration for the park's entrance is still done using a manual process. For the process of entrance registration, the tourists just have to pay for the entrance and the staff will let them in. This could cause people lining up at the park's entrance, which will be evident on peak seasons such as religious holidays. Booking for hotels uses a similar process as entrance registration. Tourists will avail the rooms and at the reception and then pay once their stay is over. Tanaw Park has an official Facebook page, as well as a section in the website of Municipality of Rizal. The mentioned Facebook page has a decent following. While Tanaw is known by the locals of Rizal, the authorities of the park want to increase the park's visibility and spread more awareness about Tanaw Park and its offerings to the public, particularly tourists using other types of media. As more of the public learns about Tanaw Park, this could mean an increase in tourists not only for the park itself but as well as other attractions in Rizal and in nearby towns. The increase in tourists will help nearby businesses and establishments as well, which could help the economy of Municipality of Rizal. With this in mind, the developers propose a system, an e-tourism mobile web app as well as a desktop website for the park. Next slide pala. The website will include a variety of information about the park that can potentially attract more tourists. With the use of the system, users will be able to register for their entrance to the park and book for the park's hotels online and an option to process payments using e-wallet. They will be able to check frequently asked questions about the park and ask other specific questions using a chat feature. The website will have 3 levels of users: the administrator, the guest, and the users and the guest users.
Project purpose. The purpose of the project is to develop an e-tourism mobile web app website for Tanaw de Rizal Park, Rizal, Laguna. This will serve as another media to provide the public with information about the park. It will streamline the business processes of the park authorities to deliver a better quality of service to tourism and guests. To the authorities and staff of Tanaw Park, the website can be utilized by Tanaw's authorities and another means to promote the park to attract more tourists as well as improve their business processes such as entrance registration and hotel rooms reservation. Then they can be also used rating from the park guests to be able to bring a better experience to guests. To the guest user will able to use the website to view information about the park and check what the park has to offer from activities, accommodation, etc. User will be able to use a chat feature for inquiries and check frequently asked questions. Registered user will be able to use the website to register and book hotel rooms online with e-payment or cash payment options. They will also be able to check their profile details, their transaction history, past and ongoing transactions, as well as view their receipt proof of transaction. To the park guest visitor, the website will be help the park guests in getting acquainted with park and its facility, as well as the activities that the park offers. The website can be used as a guide by guests for a pleasant experience their visit at the park. Guests will be able to rate their experience in the park to help other potential tourists and the park management for decision making. To future researchers, the project will be served as a basis for development in formulating and developing future projects. Next, project objectives. The general objectives. The general objective of the project is to implement an e-tourism mobile web app for Tanaw de Rizal Park in Rizal, Laguna. Specific objectives: to design an e-tourism mobile web app that will help improve the visibility of the affirmation park to the public by providing user with information about the Tanaw and allowing online registration and booking. To develop an e-tourism mobile web app that has the following features. For a guest user, a homepage to view information about the park, a guest page to help with navigation, nearby page to have information about nearby establishment, check information about nearby establishment, contact page to get park contact information, customer service page to view or search frequently asked questions, log in, sign up, forgot password for the account related features, floating chat features for inquiries. For registered user, a homepage to view information about the park, booking tab to view information about the Tanaw facilities and services, entrance registration and hotel booking rooms, receipt page to check information about transaction, email, SMS, notification for reference number of transaction that can serve as receipt. Receipt storage in my account page. A guide page to help with navigation. Nearby page to have information about nearby establishment. Check information about nearby establishment. My account page to view information and update account details. Transaction history to view transaction of receipts for ongoing transaction. Contact page to get park contact information. Customer service page to view or search for frequently asked questions. Creating feedback page for user comments regarding their stay in the park. Logout option. Floating chat features for inquiries. For the park administrator or staff. Admin login panel, a database to store user-related information. Admin panel page that will be used in monitoring and managing user and transaction. Registered user panel to view information about the user. Notification panel for new transactions. Transaction panel for details about Tanaw de Rizal Park. Booking reservation and Tanaw entrance registration made by user. Modify transaction status, reviews transaction, and ongoing transaction. Use receipt and past transaction storage. A user plus a guest user manage panel to view conversation with user from a chat and contact us form. Rating feed by ratings by park guests. Generate reports using ratings that will be used for decision making. To test the functionality and usability of the system within the institution. To evaluate the system using ISO 25010. To document the development of the system.
Scope and limitation. The Tanaw Park eTourism mobile web app will help increase Tanaw Park's visibility to the general public. The web app will give an easier access to information about the park, to tourists and guests. The web app will serve as a tool to give us users and guests information about the park services, offerings, and facilities. The web app will also give users an option to process park entrance and book hotels online. The web app will have three levels of users, guest users, and administrators. The web app will give similar functionalities to users and guest users. Both users can view information about the park in such as its history, activities activities it offers, information about results tourism. Both users will have access to the Guides tab to help with navigation and planning ahead for a future trip. Both users can use a floating chat button to inquire about the park services, offerings, and facilities, or ask questions about information that they want to clarify. Both users can use the Nearby tab to view a catalog of nearby hotels, restaurants, and resorts, which they might be heading next after their stay in the park. Both users will be able to send questions using the Contact Us page, read information, and view frequently asked questions in customer page. The user or the registered user can also use the web app to register and book hotels online using the Booking tab. The user can also view information about the park's hotel in the same tab. Users can view and modify their account information on My Account page. Users can also give ratings or feedbacks regarding the park, which the management of the park can use for better services to the park's guests. Guest users do not have access to the Booking tab, which will be grayed out in the view of the web app. Guest users also cannot view and modify their account information, as well as provide ratings or feedback to the park. Users cannot process payments using credit or debit cards. Both users cannot order food and book for accommodation or resorts directly in the Nearby tab. Both users cannot perform voice or video chat using the web app. Administrators cannot modify user information that is saved on the database. Administrators cannot delete transaction receipts. Administrators won't be able to reply or comment to user ratings and feedback. The web app will not be able to print receipts from transactions. And this is the conceptual model of the Tanaw Park E-Tourism mobile web app. In the input stage, the knowledge requirements is a knowledge about Tanaw Park, knowledge about establishments in Rizal Laguna, knowledge in creating website, knowledge about database management and programming. And the software requirements are Subline Text 3, WAMP server, and a web browser. Hardware requirements during the development. Computer or laptop with at least 4 GB RAM and a Wi-Fi or data connection. A hardware requirements during the implementation. Computer or laptop with at least 4 GB RAM, mobile phone with at least 4 GB RAM, and a Wi-Fi or data connection. In a process, in a process stage, it indicates a requirements, design, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. And in the output stage, Tanaw Park features mobile web app and website. And the last part is evaluation stage. The project conceptual model served as a reference for the developers to identify the requirements needed for the system development. It was composed of four parts:
20
input,
minutes.
process, output, and evaluation stage. Input stage consists of knowledge requirements, software requirements, and hardware requirements. Knowing these requirements help the developers in determining what they need to create the system. Similar to knowledge requirements, developers should be familiar with the now part, the current processes in the park, and, and the different activities and facilities available there, as well as the establishments that are in near proximity of Tanaw Park. either within the municipality of Rizal or in nearby towns. The process stage is concerned with the overall process of system development. It includes gathering requirements that developers will need to design and create the system. In designing and developing the system, the developers have planned to design of the system, database, its architecture, the system components, and user interface to be able to generate an output that will meet the client's requirements. The final product, the Tanaw Park eTourism mobile web app was ready for deployment and use by the client at the output stage. During the evaluation stage, the system was tested and evaluated to determine whether the function and other capabilities were operational for customer use and development using the output phase. The system was tested and reviewed using ISO 25010 while in the assessment stage to ensure functionality.
Operational definition of terms. Administrator. A person in charge of running a system, database, or computer network. App. Another term for application, a piece of computer software that executes a particular task for a user, or in some cases for another application. Booking. The arrangement users make when making a reservation for something like hotel room, a dining room table, a theater seat, or a spot on public transportation. Chat. A typical approach to customer support or service that provides assistance to customers via messaging app or online chatbot. Entrance registration. Registration to use the park's facilities and participate in its activities. E-wallet. Another name for digital wallets are mobile financial transaction software programs. These apps enable users to pay for purchases made while shopping using their devices, eliminating the need for them to carry around credit cards. Guest users. A user who hasn't created an account on a website or platform. Limited privileges and permissions are granted to this user level. Guest. A person who arrives at leaves a collective accommodation establishment or private tourism accommodation and check in or out. Receipt. Receipt. An acknowledgement of transaction in writing. For purposes of verification, receipts can be used as proof of transaction. Tanaw. Tanaw de Rizal Park. User ID. A string that will be unique to every user that they can use to check transaction history and receipts. Users. A person who uses or operates something, a software service, a computer, or another device.
Chapter 2. Review of related literature and studies. This chapter presents the related literature and studies from different resources. The acquired related literature and studies will aid the developers in being familiar with ideas and information that are relevant and similar to the developed study. It will serve as a guide for developers in the development of Tayakil eTourism mobile web app. Next slide. Related literature. Tanaw Park is a tourist attraction located in Sitio Malaseña, Barangay Tala, Municipality of Rizal, Laguna. After the 2010 elections, one of the priorities of the new administration was to speed up the local development. The newly elected mayor and vice mayor were more willing to use fresh approaches to raise the status of the municipality. The municipal government looked into several plans, one of which was to start an ecotourism business in Tayak Hill. In 2011, the preparations for the park's launch were initiated. During this time, the park was promoted as Tayak Adventure and Nature Park and the Landing Point. In 2012, the municipal government officially launched the park to the public with its official name as Tanaw de Rizal Park.
Nature Park. A nature park is a cultural landscape shaped through human activity. The landscape is shaped by truthful and sustainable land use and landscaping, which also provide unique incentives for outdoor recreation. A nature park aims to encourage local land use practices and purpose-effective methods of nature conservation. A nature park duties include supporting local and regional cycles and processes as well as the presentation and dissemination of the knowledge about nature and culture. Next, hotels, a business that provides lodging for tourists and occasionally long-term residents, and frequently has restaurants, meeting spaces, stores, etc. that are open to the public. There are several types of hotels, including bed and breakfast hotels, eco hotels, chain hotels, motels, inns, and more. Next, web browser. A web browser is a software that provides a way to view and interact with all the information on the World Wide Web, and this includes web pages, videos, and images. Web page. A web page is a document that can be viewed on internet browser and is typically written in HTML. The URL address can be entered into address bar of the browser to access a web page. Text, images, and hyperlinks to the other web pages and files can be found a web page.
Website. According to Merriam-Webster, a website is a collection of web pages that are typically linked to one another and made available online by a person, business, institution of higher learning, government, or other organization. Tourism. Tourism is the sum of the phenomena and the relationship that results from the interaction of tourists, visa suppliers, host governments, and host communities during the process of attracting and accommodating these tourists and other visitors. E-tourism. E-tourism is the digitization of processes in the travel, hospitality, and catering industry so that businesses can increase their productivity and efficiency. QR codes. The QR in QR code stands for quick response. According to Christensen, a QR code is a type of barcode that contains a matrix of dots. A QR scanner or a smartphone with a built-in camera can be used to scan QR codes. After being scanned, software and the software on the gadget turns the codes into numbers or a string of characters.
Information system. Information system refers to the collection of equipment that is involved in the collection, processing, storage, and information propagation. Information system include everything from hardware, software, computer system connections, and information. Information system users and the premises that house the system. Transaction processing system. Based on Misno test form ba, transaction processing system gather, store, modify, and retrieve an organization's transactions. Any event that creates or modifies data that is then stored in an information system can be considered as transaction. It is an information system designed and intended to process common business transactions and centers around accounting and financial transactions. Management Information System. A management information system is a group of tools and processes that collect information from various sources, organize it, and make it readable. The reports that managers generate using MIS give them a thorough overview of all the data that they require to make decisions ranging from minute details to top-level strategy. Although the concept is older than contemporary computing technologies, Today's management information system heavily rely on technology to gather and present data. Decision support system. According to Siegel, a decision support system is a computerized program that organizations or businesses use to support decisions, judgments, and course of action. A DSS sorts and examines large volumes of data, compiling thorough knowledge that can be applied to problem solving and decision making. A DSS typically uses data on target or project revenue, sales figures, or historical data from various time periods, and other inventory or operational related information.
Web app. According to Christensen, a web application or web app is a piece of software that operates on a web server. Web apps must be accessed through a web browser as opposed to conventional desktop applications, which are launched by the operating system. Next slide. Database. Database. Based on Christensen, a database is a type of data structure used to store organized information. Most databases have multiple tables, each of which might have a number of unique fields. Tables for products, employees, and financial information, for instance, might be present in a company database. Different fields specific to the data stored in the table would be present in each table. Development tools. Sublime Text Tree. Sublime Text Tree is a lightweight cross-platform code editor known for its speed, ease of use, and strong community support. It's an incredible editor right out of the box, but the real power comes from the ability to enhance its functionality using package control and creating custom settings. The developers use Sublime Text for developing the Tanaw Park Tourism mobile web app. Sublime Text is straightforward and easy to use. It is available on many platforms such as Windows, Mac OS, and Linux operating systems that allows developers to easily transition to IDEs or text editors between devices if needed.
WAMP server. WAMP is a variation of LAMP for Windows system, and it is often a software bundles Apache, MySQL, and PHP. It is often used for web development and internal testing, but may also be used to serve live website. WAMP also includes MySQL and PHP, which are two of most common technologies used for creating dynamic websites. MySQL is a high-speed database, while PHP is a scripting language that can be used to access data from the database. Next. Hypertext Markup Language, or HTML. According to Christensen, 2015, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, the language that is used to develop web pages. Hypertext refers to the hyperlinks that HTML page may contain. Markup language refers to the way tags used to define page layout elements with the pages. The development the, the, the developers use HTML to construct web pages for web app and website. HTML specifies the content of the web pages. It was required for the structure and information that is needed to display on the Tanaw Park Tourism mobile web app.
Cascading style sheet. According to Christensen, cascading style sheets are used to format the layout of web pages. It can be used to define text formatting, table dimensions, and other elements of web pages that were previously only able to be specified in the HTML of a page. Using CSS, web designers can give multiple pages of a website consistent appearance. Commonly used styles only need to be defined once in a CSS document rather than having to specify the style of every table and text block within HTML of a page. Any page that references the CSS file is able to use the style once it has been defined in the cascading style sheet. The developers use cascading style sheets to style and order the contents of the web app. CSS determines how the page's content should look like. With the help of CSS, it provided better accessibility for the users of the Tanaw Park eTourism mobile web app. JavaScript. According to Christensen, JavaScript is a popular programming language for creating websites. It was originally developed by the Netscape as a way to include interactive and dynamic elements on websites. While JavaScript is influenced by Java, the syntax is much more similar to C and is derived as SMA script, a scripting language developed by Sun Microsystems. Because JavaScript is a client-side scripting language, the client's web browser, as opposed to the web server, processes the source code. In other words, JavaScript function can run without communicating with the server once a web page has loaded. The developers use JavaScript to add interactive and dynamic elements to the pages of the web app to make it more aesthetically pleasing and give visitors a good user experience.
PHP. PHP stands for Hypertext Preprocessor. According to Christensen, PHP is scripting language used by web designers to build dynamic websites. It is frequently pre-installed alongside MySQL as part of a LAMP configuration on Apache web servers. The web server parses the PHP code, which can output HTML to the web page when a website visitor accesses a PHP page. The developers use PHP as a means of communication between the website and the database to be able to create dynamic content for the website. MySQL. According to Christensen, MySQL is an open source relational database management system, structured query language, which is used to add, remove, and modify data in databases, serves as its foundation. Although it can be used for many different purposes, MySQL is most often seen on web servers. Web pages that access data from a database may be found on a website that makes use of MySQL. The developers use MySQL in developing the web app because it gives the users the ability to access their data that is stored in the system's database. It allows the developers to manipulate the data in the database.
Related studies. Hotels.com. Hotels.com is a website that can be accessed using an internet connection. The website features a landing page wherein users can input their destination, dates of their trip, and number of travelers. This information will be used to show available hotels and other accommodations within the location, ratings of the said hotels, and their pricing. Users can view this information on a list view or a map view. Similar to the Tanaw Park eTourism web app, the website also shows nearby accommodations from a certain location. Developers want to adapt this website's search functionality into the web app, but only using the location of Rizal as its search parameters.
Enchanted Kingdom website. Enchanted Kingdom website offers a variety of functionality to user. The homepage features the overview of the park and its offerings. It has park into a tab, includes the park rules, park map, and direction and guide for travelers. The website allows users to pre-book tickets online and provide user information about promos and packages. The website has an online shop that user can purchase items such as membership card, tickets, and park merchandise. User can ask questions about amusement park using the provide contact details and contact form. Similar to the Tanaw Park e-tourism web app, the website provides information to users about the park. It it also has a guide feature as well. The website also allow user transaction and has a contact form for inquiries. Website doesn't have a functionality that allows users to give ratings about their experience in the park. Splash Island website. Splash Island website serves as an online brochure for the user with the additional capabilities. User can view information about the park and its attraction. The park also offers accommodation to the guests that user can check details such as types of accommodation and rates using the website. The website can also provide user information about entrance rates and park package offerings. User also have option to download the park brochure for more information in PDF format. On the bottom of the website is the contact form to allow user to ask questions for inquire as well as other contact information, and a map to guide prospective visitor among the user. The website is similar to the Tanaw e-tourism web app. It gives user information about the park and its attraction. It also offers information about accommodation the park offers, and it also has a contact form and a map to guide tourists. Website doesn't have an option for online entrance registration and online booking for their accommodation. The website does not rating page that enables user to give ratings about the experience in the park. The website also doesn't have offer online booking. The developers can adapt the download brochure feature to Tanaw Park e-tourism web app.
Google Maps. Google Maps is a web-based service falling under the navigation category. It provides comprehensive data on locations and geographical features all over the world. Aerial and satellite views of many locations are available on Google Maps, in addition to traditional road maps. In some cities, Google Maps provides street views made up of images captured from moving vehicles. The developers will incorporate Google Maps in developing the Tanaw Park e-tourism web app, especially in the Guides tab, where a map will be displayed to guide tourists on their trip to Tanaw Park. Waze. Waze is a community-driven map app designed by an Israeli company that was acquired by Google in 2013. It guides users through the shortest route possible when driving. Waze uses data from users to provide quicker navigation routes. Users can automatically submit navigation data to the app as they drive around, or manually input data on the app. Users can report traffic jams, accidents, speed traps, and other hazards that may slow down motorists. Similar to the Tanaw Park e-tourism web app, the website also guides tourists driving or navigating towards a certain location. Developers want to adapt this website functionality into the web app.
Car park reservation using QR system. Purpose flow. The proposed system make use of an app to let drivers choose their preferred parking spot, keep track of their parking slot usage time, and make payments electronically rather in person. The key component for reserving a parking space will be the QR code. The driver will scan the QR code to confirm his reservation, and then again at the exit to verify their payment and remove his information from the parking system. Similar to the Tanaw Park e-tourism web app, the system also uses QR codes in verifying transactions. Next. LSPU CCS Payment Transaction Management System. The system goal is to offer a user-friendly interface that will make the college payment transaction quick and with accurate information. Information about payment transactions could be stored in the system so that administrators could search for transaction information. Administrators could also print the information as a report of the payment transaction. The system could also generate a receipt with a tracking number so that if the student had any remaining balance, he or she could quickly find it by using the tracking number. Tanaw Park e-tourism web app is similar to this system. It can also process and issue an online receipt that contains the transactional details. Based on above related studies, the similar Tanaw Park e-tourism web app to the other was that all systems provide information to the users. This function helps both administrator and customer view, access, and manage the information and transactions easily. The difference of Tanaw Park eTourism web app to the others was developers combined the similar features of the aforementioned system into the web app.
Project design. This is the proposed project design for the Tanaw Park e-tourism mobile web app. The system will have a home page, a login page, a sign up page, forgot password page, and the home page for the registered user. The difference between the home page for the registered user and the guest user is that in the guest user, the booking page is grayed out, and when clicked, it will redirect the user to the login page. Next is the booking tab. When the user clicks on the book for a hotel call to action, it will show the list of Tayak hotels. And when the user clicks on the hotel details, they will be linked to the booking page. This is the registration and the hotel booking forms for Tanaw Park. This is the registration and booking detail confirmation page, which shows the details, the transaction details of the user, and the user can choose a payment method. It's either GCash, PayMaya, or Coins.ph, or they can opt to pay in cash in the park itself in person. And there will be a registration and hotel booking receipt page. The receipt will contain the transaction details such as the name of the client, number of guests or duration of stay, the total amount they paid or to pay, the reference number, date and time of transaction, and the QR code for validation purposes. Next is the Guides tab, which will contain a text guide and a map which will help users to navigate to the park. Next is the Nearby tab. The Nearby tab will display nearby restaurants, accommodations, and resorts in the proximity of Tanaw Park. The details will contain the restaurant's bestseller or the type of hotel, the service that they offer, the average rates. When the user clicks on any details of any establishment, the user will be brought in the more details page, wherein it contains more details about the establishment, and at the upper part, it will show the location of the establishment in the map. In the More tab, it contains My Account, Account Settings, Contact Us, Customer Service, Rating or Feedback, and Logout. My Account and Rating or Feedback is not accessible by the guest user, as well as Logout. The My Account will be replaced by the Login instead. If the user is a guest, the Rating or Feedback will redirect the user to the login page, and the Logout will not be available. In the My Account page, it will show the account details and transaction history of the user. When the user clicks on the View button, they can view the receipt that is shown in the receipts page earlier. The users can also edit their account details using the account settings page. They can edit their account details and security details. The Save button will be only visible when the user has input on any field in account details and all fields in Change Password. Next is Contact Us page. The Contact Us page will contain a contact form and contact info which users can use to inquire or ask more questions about the park. Next is the Customer Service plus Frequently Asked Questions page. The Customer Service page will contain a search button which users can use to search for popular questions about the park. And it also has menu and contact us button, wherein the menu button will bring back the user to the more tab, and then the contact us will bring the user to the contact form. At the bottom, there will be the frequently asked questions will be displayed, and when the user clicks on it, the details about the question will be displayed. Next page is the rating or feedback page. The rating or feedback page will ask the user their level of satisfaction, their comments or suggestions for the park, and the probability that they would return to the park. This can help the other travelers and the administration as well to decide on what to improve on the park. Use case diagram. The red lines indicate the functionalities for the registered user, the blue lines indicate the functionalities for the guest users, and the black lines indicate the functionalities that can be accessed by both users. The use wait lang meron pa. The use case diagram indicates that both users will have access to almost all the pages except the booking page, my account page, account settings page, and ratings or feedback page. After registering, the registered user will now be able to access the login page, wherein their login credentials will be verified. Registered users can also be able to request for password reset using the Forgot Password page. After logging in, the registered user will now be able to use the web app's entirety of features. All users can view information about the park in the home page. All users will have access to the guides page to view information about navigation to the park. All users can use the nearby tab to browse for nearby restaurants, hotels, or resorts and their details. All users can chat for inquiries with staff using the floating chat icon. All users can access a contact form and ask questions about the park using the Contact Us and Customer Service. Only the registered user will be able to access the booking page to register for park entrance and book hotels, confirm payment information, and view receipts on the receipts screen. Registered users can view and modify their account information, view transaction history and receipts. Registered users can also send their feedback to the park using the feedback page. Next slide. So those are all for our final project in ITEP 306. Thank you for listening.